तोता ने बोला अपने हाथों को भी मूव करना है। तोता ने बोला आवाज बिल्कुल नहीं कर देंगे।
अरे वाह, छोटे भाई ने क्या महल बनाया है। एक तालियां तो बनती है। अरे जाओ, इतने उतावले क्यों हो रहे हो? आगे की कहानी बाकी है।
आर्ट बहुत ज़रूरी है लाइफ में, उसके बिना अधूरे हैं।
बर्बाद हो गया है।
मुझे एक सोने का महल और सोने का गाड़ी चाहिए। जो हुकुम मेरे आका, ये लीजिए आपका सोने का महल।
आप जब अपनी कहानी सबके सामने बताते हैं ना, तो आप अपने आप को रिलीफ फील करते हैं,
बड़े भाई ने
क्योंकि आप सालों से महीनों से आप अपने अंदर कोई चीज़ को दबी हुई है, दबा के रखे हो आप, और कोई ज़रिया नहीं मिल रहा है आपको बताने का कि आप अंदर की फीलिंग कैसे बाहर निकालोगे, और एक मौका मिला आपको और सबको बता दिया आपने। तो वो दिन मतलब वो जो दिन जो आप अपने फीलिंग्स को मतलब दबी हुई चीज़ को जब रिलीव करते हो ना, तो बहुत हल्का महसूस करते हैं। और वो मैंने उस बच्चे में देखा। मैंने आज उसका फेस में देख रहा था कि किस तरह से बदल रहा था उसका फेस, यू नो, इमोशंस कैसे चेंज हो रहे थे। आई कैन सी दैट। तो ये ताकत है आपकी।
Arts and social practice essentially allows a certain kind of articulation of their own sort of issues which particularly plague them, or some things which the communities have not necessarily addressed or articulated in clear words, or in images, or in visuals, or in paintings. An arts and social practice working with artists, when artists sort of give skills to the communities, they are innovating artistic skills. They're addressing their vulnerabilities. They are articulating their vulnerabilities in images, visuals, sounds, or any artistic form which the artist sort of chooses to do so. And that reflection which goes back to the community empowers them.
आर्ट एक तो आपको एक तो विजुअल मीडियम होता है। हमारा जो पपेट्री है कि विजुअल मीडियम है, और कोई भी आर्ट आप फिल्म मेकिंग देख लो, आप डांस के थ्रू देख लो, आप थिएटर के थ्रू देख लो, पपेट्री के थ्रू देख लो, आप अपने एक्सप्रेशन को बिल्कुल फीलिंग को जाहिर करते हो उसके थ्रू, और कोई शर्म नहीं होती है इसमें। तो धीरे धीरे आप खुल जाते हो, यू नो, हेजिटेशन ख़त्म हो जाती है आपके अंदर की। तो और ये इन बच्चों में ये हुआ है, तो अपनी बातें खुल के रख पा रहे हैं अब, और खुल के बातें करते हैं। जो उनके अंदर है वो खुल के बता पा रहे हैं अब।
I'm trained as a trauma-informed art-based therapist. You know, different forms or modalities of therapy, working with marginalized communities for the last 26 years. I have worked in prisons, in juvenile homes, and in conflict areas. Mostly in my earlier life as more or less in an individual capacity. Also working with various different organizations, sometimes heading them, sometimes heading programs, sometimes working individually. In the last 5-6 years, I started collaborating with other artists. You know, I collaborated with Anurupa Roy, who's a puppeteer, and Mohammed Shameen, who's a puppeteer. And they sort of gave us the capacity to bring in skill sets. What we do essentially in arts and social practice is like we create learning context through the arts. And the idea was to create a learning context and get the scriptures or the themes, Buddhist themes, much more embodied within the student, rather than for them to think in terms of a subject that they had to study, to make it closer to their lives. So the 4 Immeasurables were used as a, as a sort of a framework, which is Mudita, Maitri, Karuna, Upeksha, rejoicing, compassion, deep friendliness, loving kindness, and equanimity, which I think anybody would need or would want it in their lives anyways. So the study of life, which is Buddhism in that sense, and to understand what is this all about, I thought I could use Jataka tales or tales of saints, whether it's Angulimal, whether it's who was an Arahat, then Milarepa, or the various Jataka tales. Up till now, we've been doing that. So they would sort of work for a week or 10 days and then bring about a performance in the presentation which the community would watch, And this is always a part of arts and social practice, which is like a presentation, a performance, and this brings up a culmination of what they have been studying, and their skills and their vulnerabilities sort of get connected.
पहली मुराद क्या है?
मेरा दोनों जगह भागा तो हुक्म करो मेरे यार।
बहुत समय पहले की बात है जब रिंजिन एक भगवान हुआ करता था, तब वह स्वर्गलोक में बहुत हानि पहुंचाता था। उसकी शैतानी से छुटकारा पाने के लिए सारे भगवान इकट्ठे होकर उसे एक चिराग में बंद कर दिया।
पपेट के माध्यम से बच्चों के साथ जब हम काम कर रहे हैं तो बच्चे अपने फीलिंग्स को अच्छे से शेयर कर पा रहे हैं। जो भी उनके अंदर बातें होती है वो छुपती नहीं है फिर, क्योंकि वो कोई शर्म नहीं है वहाँ पे, कि पपेट के थ्रू बात कर रहा है। तो एक तो पपेट की ताकत है एक्चुअली, तो इसलिए इस माध्यम को हमने चूज़ किया है इन बच्चों के साथ काम करने के लिए, ताकि वो अपने फीलिंग को शेयर करें, अपनी बातें रख सके, कॉन्फिडेंट आ सके।
इस बार उन्होंने देखा कि पपेट सिर्फ कागज नहीं है, पपेट वो खुद है, कि वो पपेट को चला रहे हैं, तो एक तरीके से वो पपेट में जान डाल रहे हैं और पपेट उनको रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं। तो मुझे सबसे अच्छा ये लगा कि उनके बीच एक कह सकते हैं कि कनेक्शन बना, जिसकी वजह से जो ये प्रेजेंटेशन हुई या जो बच्चों ने जो भी कहानी बनाई उसको वो एक कहीं ना कहीं अपने साथ से जोड़ पाए अपने, चाहे क्योंकि कहानी जो थी वो बच्चों ने खुद बनाई, कैरेक्टर उन्होंने खुद बनाए, तो मुझे लगता है कि बच्चों ने अपनी रियल लाइफ से भी कहीं ना कहीं उसमें इंस्पिरेशन ली है।
और मैंने हम लोग थर्ड टाइम है ये, तो हमने बहुत चेंजेस देखे हैं इन बच्चों में। जैसे कि लास्ट टाइम आई रिमेंबर दैट कि मुझे पपेट्री जब हम करना शुरू किया, उनके साथ वर्कशॉप करना शुरू किया, तो हाथ पकड़ के मुझे कराना पड़ रहा था। पर इस टाइम उन्होंने अपनी स्टोरी खुद बनाई, पहली बात तो, और मैं हल्का सा बस गाइड करता था, और वो अपनी थिंकिंग से और अपनी कॉन्फिडेंस से खुद ही स्टोरी बिल्ड कर रहे थे, खुद ही पपेट बिल्ड कर रहे थे। सो ये बहुत बड़ा मैं जंप देखा है लास्ट ईयर।
हुकुम करो मेरे आका।
कौन हो तुम?
मैं रिंजीन, आपका गुलाम मेरे आका। लेकिन तुम तो भूत जैसे लग रहे हो, तुम्हारा शक्ल भी कैसा है। लाखों सालों से मैं ऐसे ही देखता हूँ मेरे आका, कहीं आपको मेरा सुंदरता से जलन नहीं हो रहा है ना? नहीं।
This brings up a culmination of what they have been studying, and their skills and their vulnerabilities sort of get connected. This time is particularly special because we've got Dhananjay, who's a filmmaker, so I have layered it with another artistic modality, and here they're not just working on a narrative or a theme which is a fantasy, which they're also doing, but they're not just doing that. They're now coming a little bit more closer to their own reality, and I thought it would be safer to do this now than before, because we've built up a certain kind of a trust.
Filmmaking workshop delved into the aspects of filmmaking, which is writing stories, then filming it, then editing it, which is essentially pre-production, production and post-production. The challenge was to break these concepts, these film concepts down to these students and try and tell them, emphasize to them the importance of sound and visuals and images and the power and the impact they hold first before they get into filmmaking.
They learn lots of things from here, and now you can see that they are capturing these moments, like sports day, and they are very happy to show you like what they capture in the moments. So I think this one is the like thing where they learn in this class, and now they are able to apply these things in real life. So that is very wonderful. Like they are learn something in workshop, and now they are able to apply those things in their real life. So I think these are very useful, and they learn lots of things from here.
we delved into the theory of what sound and image is, and not just theory, the reality of what all medium is, and only with the understanding of this medium can you really use it to tell a story, which all these students did really brilliantly. Through this workshop, this was a 10-day workshop, we could focus on the writing and the storyboarding and structuring the story part and the filming part, where a lot of them also got a chance to work with the camera.
Set. Go.
Korsan Sinjar. Ta khela workshop sugni da. Garishas.
뭐만 가는 게 싸움 마당조다 가래. 윤된 나기도 와. 여기서 빼먹어 잡았어. 장기를.
Simba gare jai.
심바. 나 마주하다 카메라 간제신다 자야레 디장인.
Ale ani temo gare soin.
데모 나서 그룹이라. 그룹 나로라 소여다 데모지. 디 데모이 밍데 love and friendship.
Ai. Ya chunu darje. Akhara chunu darje.
아우.
Da khela workshop chone da kibo ganiles sorwa.
시가로다 시작하면 또 너거러매.
Kare nagorame.
like 시가로와. 시가로마 ketchup 항뱅.
Anpang.
시마다 老师 DJ sir 시가로와다 간지워 그러면 시가로와 ketchup 항바다 我去 你去 ketchup camera 去 항방
Anpang.
시가로와 근데 기복 하려고 그러다 클래식 뭐 얘기다 딘데 더워랑
왜?
뺏기고 줬다 랑아랑 라투이 민두게 다 칙디오 하는 리임도 간데 줬어 레이만
가래 장스 계속야.
Kare chance.
당아치
Temo sotang jang.
소당자인
왜?
Por gare lahayu.
디당자인 lok당자인 아다 망보 시외래 간데라고 그러다 뒤져 말하다
왜?
족족이다
야, 너 주마양 양자 디나신다 워크숍다 지역이디 할라서 레디 왜?
요다 뺏기고 중사 오늘은
네.
Ready da.
로 강사 뒤에 총을 약사를 오늘은 그러기 말해
야. Let's see you next time lah, guys.
야
मूव करें.
With Vikram and Shamim's presence, Vikram has already worked with these students for the past 3 years, and he could really help them get their expressions out, which is the biggest challenge when you are doing these workshops. To how do you make the learner open up with their experiences and share it in front of the camera? So that work really shone through with this workshop, where they were ready to explore their vulnerabilities with us, with their peers, with their batchmates, with the entire school, and showcase that through film.
हीलिंग ऐसे ही होता है ना कि जब हम अंदर कोई चीज़ दबा के रखते हैं हम लोग और हम शेयर नहीं करते हैं लोगों के साथ, या किसी ट्रॉमा से गुजर रहे हैं हम लोग, और हम जब तक उसको शेयर नहीं करेंगे तो वो हम उस ट्रॉमा में ही रहते हैं हम, you know.
I think one of the most important thing is that when they look through the scriptures, they don't see it just like something which is outside of themselves, like a subject, which they have to give exams, to rote learning. But because I feel like when you embody it in your body, then there's a connection which takes place. Then when you're studying and looking at the view, you are not just seeing it something separate from their lives, they're seeing it as part of themselves as they breathe, sit, eat. So like maybe someone who studies viruses sees virus everywhere, similarly, or a therapist like me sees clients everywhere, you know, a practitioner sees Dhamma everywhere. And in a way it's powerful because it allows them to live life here more joyfully. And whenever even if they drop out and they go out in the world and go back to their lives, they carry it with themselves, and do not are not in between worlds. Because I think because when you come from a pre-monastic school and if you go back into the life full of material and a materialistic life, a life full of suffering, poverty, and all of that which we have, sometimes you can fall in between the stools. So the whole idea is to give empowerment to young people in a more creative manner, where it becomes also their skills, and they will never forget the fact that they made films. So if they get out of the world, they can still make films, and they still can express their lives, because that has become part of their habitus, part of their learning.